Hi, Dennis Janusis here again from Leadership is Changing. Hey, just let me know where you are watching from today. So just put in the chat, let me know where you're watching from. Be good just to see where you sort of tuning in from. Hey, yesterday I talked about doing some events coming up, and yesterday I had the pleasure of facilitating an event around with 4 different executives around emerging from a crisis and leading, from an HR perspective. And that was really interesting to go through that actual call with these 4 executives. And one of the things that sort of came out of it was about trust and those organizations that have high trust and those that have a lower trust, and how those who had higher trust were able to enable or mobilize or put things in place a lot quicker. So, which was really quite cool to see. The other thing was that leaders were talking about strategically where they're going to go next and what they can do next as well. And it was great to see a lot of organizations are thinking about the next steps. So what was really quite evident is that people are thinking about, and they were just doing what they needed to do. So it was all hands to the pump. Let's get on with it. They've also taken time out now just to sort of think about where they are with things and what lessons they've learned, because there are going to be huge amounts of lessons being learned right now. But what are you doing with those lessons is going to be really, really quite critical. Critical for the business to move forward, critical for leaders to understand and learn from them. And then the other thing would be for leaders would be where they're going to go next with everything that they're learning. How they're going to help their organizations be more sustainable for the future. Because you see, we all learn lessons. In fact, we make mistakes as well. So it reminds me of a story of a young lady in the US who made a mistake. A mistake so bad that it cost the company about $3 million. So it's a huge mistake, right? And so the next day she came into the office and she decided to pack her bag or her box full of stuff and her personal items. And as she was doing that, what she noticed was that people were really quite interested and thinking that she's going to be fired. So she gets a phone call. Hey, Denise. I can see Denise tuning in from Rochester, USA. Good to see you there, Denise. Hey, so this young lady she got a phone call to go and see the managing director on the 10th floor. So she jumps in the lift, and as she's in the lift, you could only hear 2 things. One was her knees, and the other one was her teeth. She was so nervous. And as she went in, the doors opened for the lift, and the executive assistant was across the other side of the room and was looking over her glasses, and she said to the young lady, "Go on in. He's waiting for you." And so that sort of gave her a little bit more encouragement. So she was even more nervous. And as she walked in, he looked up and he went, "G'day, come on in, take a seat, good to see you." And she was really puzzled. She was wondering, why is he so encouraging? Why is he so happy to see me? And so she was puzzled, and he looked at her and he said to her, "What's up?" And she goes, "Well, you seem really quite happy, but I thought I'm being here to be fired." And he said, "Why would I fire you when I've just invested $3 million in you?" You see, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to learn from things. And it's okay to have these lessons. But it's not okay to keep making the same mistakes. But what we're going through at the moment with the crisis and the leadership side of things and businesses really having to stand up and move forward, those lessons are things that have been sort of pushed onto us right now. They've been forced by nature, by the way things are. It's how we react to things. You see, we can't control what's happening, but we can control 2 things. Our attitude, in other words, the way we react to it, and number 2 is where we're going next. And it's the going next that's going to be really important, as I talked about yesterday. Where are you going next? What are you doing as an organization? And what are you going to do to help support you and your people? The other thing that sort of came out of yesterday's session was, what are we doing to support? Well, we're doing a whole lot of things as leaders to help others and make sure everyone's okay, our staff, our well-being, our customers, our businesses. But what about you? What about you as a leader? The old airplane, not that many people are doing. Technology is great when it works, but sometimes it just mutes your microphone. So not many people are actually traveling right now around the world. But when you do, They talk about on the safety side of things that your mask drops down in front of you before you can help anyone else, right? And so why do they say that? They say that because we as leaders need to look after ourselves. But how many of you are actually doing that today? How many of you are actually taking time out for yourself? I know that a lot of people right now, because they are working from home, their actual productivity is through the roof. What do I mean by that? Well, they're actually working so hard that they're online early, and sometimes they're having to get on global calls and so forth. So they're on very, very early. And then what they do is they look up, and next minute they realize it's 2 p.m. and they haven't even had lunch. Next thing they look up and it's 8 p.m., 7 p.m., and they're thinking, gosh, I even had dinner and I'm still working. The next big thing is huge for a lot of them, is how do they transition out of work back into the home life? Because you see, we're living at home. So how do we transition in the morning? But then how do we transition back out again at nighttime? And so what I'm saying to a lot of leaders is this. What about if you're going out for a walk in the evening? So actually transitioning out of the area that you're working at home, going in and actually getting changed. So in the morning, get changed into the clothes that you may go to work in. You may not have to be so dressed up, but you're actually getting dressed to go to work. But in the evening, go and get changed into the shorts, the t-shirt, whatever you need to do, and then go out for a walk. That's part of the transition between work life and home life. So what are you doing today to help you and look after you as a leader? That's my message today. What are you doing? Hey, if you need help, and if you need someone to talk to right now, because I know a lot of leaders are lonely, they're not going to go to their boss because that's where the compensation benefits are associated. They're not going to talk to their peers because they don't want to be seen being weak. And they don't really need to, well, they don't want to go to their team. So where do they go? If you're needing someone to talk to right now, just to talk through things, because I know that you're probably struggling right now as a leader. How do we know that your thinking is in the right space? What can you do to think differently and maybe even think bigger? Anyhow, if you're wanting to do that and you're wanting some help, let me know so we can talk to you and so just help you through things. Hey, look, check out my website as well, leadingchangepartners.com. But other than that, look forward to tuning in another day with you. And if you need any help, just give me a call, send me a private message on Facebook. Talk soon. Bye for now.